Hello, all. This is your local Ginger speaking for Lily Betts Creations, and we have a book review today that I'm going to be doing. um, as I mentioned in the before video, it's going to be on this book. Magical Places: An Enchanted Journey Through Mystical Sites, Haunted Houses, and Fairy Tale Forests. It's by Nikki Vandekar, and the illustrations are by Katie Vernon. The book itself, it's about, I want to say like 6 by 8. I want to say, this is my hand, covers the whole book. I would first like to mention the art in this book. Like, they took pictures of actual places. This isn't one of the actual pictures, but that's some of the illustrations. Very, very colorful, very sketchy. It is a very gorgeous book. That's the inside design. It is about, it's about 150 some pages, yeah. Well, for this book, I found it extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. It goes into, oh, let's see. I have my notes right here, so if I look down, that's what I'm looking at, I promise. In a spiritual sense, or in a less spiritual sense, it gives, like, if you're a traveler, if you like to travel a lot, or like to adventure out in the world, it gives you a really good reference point for, like, places that you could visit. You know, like, oh, well, what's going to be my next world trip? Oh, let's look at this book. Let's see if we can get some ideas. So that is, that, in a less spiritual sense. If you're a traveler and you like going all over the place, this would be a good reference to get some ideas of where to go. In a more spiritual sense, the places in this book, and I wouldn't normally talk religion or anything, but a lot of the places in this book have, like, spiritual meanings, or they're places that different religious people go, like Buddhists and all sorts of stuff. Like, several of these places, several different religions go to these places to, like, meditate and relax and stuff like that. A lot of these places, like, there's different lakes and ponds that are mentioned in the book that have healing properties, so it says, like different chemicals or whatnot in the water that can help flush out your system, stuff like that. It also talks about haunted places like forests and houses and stuff like that. But there are a lot of places in this where several different types of religions go to worship. There's churches, there's castles, there's mountains, and all sorts of different places. And in each of these stories, it does actually give kind of a very small history lesson of the place. So if you wanted to learn more about these places, you have, like, the very small backstory of it, and then if you want to do more research on it, you can just look into even more deep into the history of the place. I might actually do that with some of these places because it's really interesting. And then for the more spiritual woo-woo people out there, which I have nothing against anybody, just saying, but there's, like, it talks about earth chakras, and I think it's ley lines. I know these lines are pretty much like different magnetic fields throughout the world, and what earth chakra is, like, where you would find the crown chakra or the root chakra, like, it tells the specific place. Like, there's, like, a mountain, and there's, like, monuments and stuff in different areas of the world that are considered that. and that would be more to look into. It does go into a little bit about what different all the chakras are and stuff like that, so it gives you a little insight to that. The different sections of the book, actually, I would consider them more like chapters, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I would consider them chapters. So the first section is fairy tale locales. So just different like places, and there's a lot of places in here. I just talk about different spiritual meanings to these places and what they mean to the local culture and all that good stuff. Places of healing. This one talks a lot about different, bodies of water, rivers, or whatever that have healing properties. Different places that people go to like spiritually heal, get some comfort, stuff like that. The next one is magic in nature. Like there's the Cave of Crystals, which is like a huge cave of crystals. It's like literally exactly what it says. Let's see. Haunted places, and the title of that should be obvious. A bunch of different forests and castles and houses and different places that are said to be haunted. Tell about a little bit of history of the places, the past and the present. This one goes into more, this section kind of talks about different places in the world and their traditions, like Mexico City. I think in that area, in that one, it talks about like Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, and the celebrations that they have for that. And it does mention what is it, Krampus, something like that. It mentions a little bit about that tradition. I think it's kind of creepy, but you can do your own research on that. That's what we want to. Anyway, then the second to last talks about the earth chakras, and then the last one, it talks about different places on the ley lines, like where you could go to like feel more of that energetic, spiritual, magnetic kind of pull, whatever you want to go into that. And then there's the conclusion and all that good stuff. Let's see. It was written very well. Like whoever wrote this book did their research, and I felt like, whoever wrote, I said who wrote the book. They must have done their research and probably more into it than what was actually put in this book. They probably did a lot more research than what they actually did. And then to actually kind of sum this up, I'm going to read a little bit out of this. So, for as long as we have walked the earth, we have believed it to be magical. We have told countless legends and found the most amazing places, both natural and man-made. Some of them almost too beautiful to be real. And to this day, there are still things we cannot explain, phenomena that aren't quite accounted for by science and yet clearly exist. We should never discount our own senses. When we feel something is wrong, that there is an odd and awful feeling about a place, we often learn later that something terrible happened there. A sunny spot in the bustling French Quarter of New Orleans can give you a chill, because it was the site of a slave auction. A forest in Japan that is as beautiful and peaceful as any other can call dozens of people to die in its shadows every year. An empty field with a few rocks in Hawaii can echo with the stifled screams of powerful women, and a devil can be spotted in the swampy forests of New Jersey. More often than not, we feel awe instead of fear. We are healed by the waters of Lourdes and, excuse my pronunciation, Ganges River. I totally just butchered that. And we find peace and inspiration in Sedona and Stonehenge. And yes, Stonehenge is in here. Whether ley lines or earth chakras are the cause, whether gods have granted power to certain places, or whether Lemurians from deep within Mount Shasta are behind it all, there is magic in the sacred places of the earth. We tell stories about these places, and we are are drawn to them for thousands upon thousands of years. Because there is something happening there. Whether you decide to visit some of these places or not, seek out the ones around you in everyday life. The forest behind your house, the river flowing through your city, or even just the street corner on your way to the store may spark something in you or resonate with an energy, a power, a magic. Lean into it, explore it, and see what it brings you. And that was actually the conclusion of the book, which is actually probably would be a very good introduction to the book too. But honestly, I'd probably give this a 4 out of 5, probably 4.5 out of 5, because it was, you know what, maybe I'll just give it a 5. This was very informational. It gave you room to do more research if you wanted to. It delved into different parts of the world, and it was a very interesting book. It was a very interesting book, and I actually very much enjoyed reading it. Anyway, there's that part of the video. And I was also going to go through a few different things with y'all. If I'm going to be doing videos, and if people are going to be commenting on them and asking questions and stuff, like, I don't mind y'all asking questions. That's totally fine with me. I don't mind. But I will have to say that I will not go into any, like, the contradicting subjects, like, definitely not politics right now. No, bad idea, because politics is a very, very, very controversial subject right now. So no, I will not be speaking about politics. I will not be speaking like about abortion or anything, because you know this channel is strictly informational and fun. I don't get into super serious topics like that. Now, religion, you know, some of the books I may read may hint at different spiritual things, you know, like this one is, you know, it actually has different spiritual things and religions mentioned in it. But I will not go into the whole aspect of what I, like, if I have, like, if, you know, my religion specifically or anybody else's religion. I'm just going to say this. I don't care what your belief system is. This is all I'm going to say about this. I don't care what your belief system is, as long as it's not hurting you or anybody else, mentally or physically. I don't care. I am very open. If, you know, you have your own specific religion, that's fine. I respect that. That's your choice. That is my take on religion. And just so y'all know, I might be reading different books that have mentions of spiritual beliefs and stuff like that. So I might do a book review on them at some point. But I will not get into depth about religion, unless I do a specific video on, like, theology or whatnot. It might be interesting. Who knows? But I am not going into any arguments with anybody about anything. Channel is strictly informational, entertainment, what have you. That's why I'm here. I'm not here to argue with everyone. I don't like arguing. I don't. So, no controversial topics. I will not go into depth about any controversial topics. I'm not. Some of them I won't even talk about at all. Oh, let's see. I'm very weird. For those of you that have known me for years, know this. Specifically my 2 childhood friends. You know who you are. Or just anybody that I went to school with as a kid. Like, everybody knows I'm freaking weird. But I enjoy crafting. I enjoy reading. I enjoy being a wife and a mother. 99% of the time. Speaking of, my 2 children are currently sleeping or watching TV. 1 or 2. It's quiet time. But I'm on here to be a source of entertainment and maybe a source of information, or maybe, you know, just like with my book reviews, suggestions on what to read next. I mean, I am here just to be here. And if you are having issues, and I will say this, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed therapist, I'm really not licensed anything other than a CNA and a med aid for work. But if you need to talk to me, hit up my messages. If you really are having issues in your life and you just need someone to talk to, I'm your girl. So, yeah, that is pretty much today's video. I might go into more detail about, my crafts and my reading and all that good stuff in the next video. And I am reading another book. I showed you what it was, Clean Green. So I will be doing a review on that next week. And in between that, maybe do a video of some more details about what I do. So I hope y'all have a great day. Yay day.